Hey guys, welcome back to RLDesign.Innovations. I have received a lot of emails from folks with diode lasers and camera systems. And the one question that I consistently get is when they watch my videos where I go to engrave or cut something, I put an image down, put text down, how come it's so precise? What am I doing differently? They've gone through the lens alignments, they've gone through the camera calibrations. They don't understand why theirs is off. One of the things to think about, which folks aren't really looking at, is most laser systems have a LED crosshair. When you do an offset calibration, you're adjusting that crosshair with your laser. When you're using your camera system with your laser, if you think about it, that camera is becoming your crosshair. So you have to align your camera with your engravings by using the offset. And that's what we're going to do today. So sit back, enjoy, and learn something new. Let's get going. Let's walk over to the workstation. What I have here is LightBurn. I have it loaded. This is 1.704 release candidate 1. And let me just show you some stuff here. Okay, so first thing I want to go to the laser tools. You should run Calibrate camera lens, and that you should only have to do once. That will give you over here your calibration, your initial calibration for your camera. The Calibrate camera alignment, that's where you put a piece of wood in here. It actually will draw out the 4 quadrants and you have to center it. You want to do that with different thicknesses of wood. So like for instance, I have a profile. If I go over here, I go to import camera settings. I have one for 3mm. Then I have one for 2mm. So I'm using right now 3mm wood. So I just import that. So every time you have a different thickness of wood, you create a new profile. So in the future, maybe you use 2mm woods, 3mm, maybe 6, just for argument for engraving. You create those profiles for that. And then in the future, you have those. You build a library. Okay, so let's continue on. So we're going to assume right now you did your calibration of the lens and you did your calibration of the camera alignment. I want to show you something in here. We go to device settings. You enable on the laser offset, the enable of the pointer offset. If you could see right now, my X and my Y is minus 1.25 is the X and 18mm is the Y. So these numbers over here I'm showing you is what we're going to adjust. Now you're saying, what does that mean? Let's go in. I brought up a little diagram I just created. Your Y-axis, if you remember from elementary school, is up and down, and your X-axis is horizontal, right and left. So when you're adjusting the laser, so just understand when you have to move your laser downward to line up with the image, you go plus on the y-axis, and that goes downward. Minus brings it back up. Okay? On the x-axis, just like in grammar school, minus goes this way, positive goes this way. So again, if you look at what I have here, I have my x-axis aligned with the camera, minus 1.25 to the x, and my y is 18mm. So let's test it out. And the way I do this, I do it all the time. And then I'm going to change the numbers so you can see what happens. I'm going to put a 1 in here. Just a 1. Let's look at the cut layers. Exit there. Okay. So I'm going to make this 175 and 35. Let's see how good this is. Okay, I already focused. Oh, ensure my fan is on. I just added that comment in there, and I already have the air assist on. So I'll say yes. It's going to engrave real quick. Now we're going to update the overlay. And you really, let me just go over here. Again, right now, it's really good. You can see it's dead on. Now, let's see what happens if I put the 1 over. Let's zoom out. I'm going to put the 1 over here. And and again, the X and the Y axis, don't look at that. That was just to understand what it is. So we're not going to correlate with that per se. I'm going to put a 1 over here. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to device settings. I'm going to change the Y axis from 18 to 15. Okay, so based on what we said before, when we go to engrave this, the one that we engrave is going to be higher. Because remember, if you look at this again, if you increase the numbers, 15, 16, 17, 18, your Y-axis or your laser is going to engrave at the point downward. It's going to go lower. So we had it 18, and I subtracted 3, so we're going up. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Now I'm going to start that. Yes, it's on. And again, this is how you go through calibration. So say you did a fresh install of a camera, you went through those other 2 calibrations that I showed you before, the camera lens, and then you did the camera alignment, the Calibrate camera alignment for your piece of wood. Next is the offset, which is crucial for having precise engraving. Okay, so let me go over here. You can see we're up. Let me try changing auto exposure a little bit and make it a little darker. Let's see if that helps. And change this up over here. Okay, so you can see right over here, we're too high now, right? So I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to do right over here. And it may take you on a new installation of a camera system, it could take you 6 to 8 times to start getting into that ballpark of where it's close, and then you just go up 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters at a time until you get to the point where you want. So now we're going to go back here. We're going to edit device settings, and I'm going to change from 15. Remember, the original number was 18. Let's go to 17. Let's see how close we are. Okay. And now I'm going to move it right here. Start the laser. Yes, it's on. Okay, get that out of the way. And some folks ask me, why am I growing my beard back? Well, to be honest, a week or so ago, I was trimming my beard and the guard fell off and I went zip and I had a line. So I was clean shaven for the last video and now it's starting to grow back. So just a little backstory to that. Okay, so I did an update overlay. You could see we're getting closer. It's moving down. So let's change it again. Device settings. I'm going to go to 18. Okay. And what I am also going to do is, let me see if I can make it a little darker on the engrave. This is a little 1. It's not like we're doing a big graphic. Okay. 200. I don't know why. I always use either 1s or a little circle. So I'm going to move this over here again. This is just our test board. Yes. And hopefully you'll see it should be perfectly aligned now. We went back to where we should be, which I had it at 18. Now, one thing to note, after you go through all your calibrations and you've done the offset, if you adjust your focus on that camera, you're actually changing the focal point of the distance, how the camera is focused against your material. So what happens then? You have to go through the offset calibration. So again, try to get your focus really good, and then do your calibrations. And if you notice, we're dead on again, right there. Now let's try to see what happens when we mess with the X coordinate. Go to device settings. I'm going to go from minus 1.25. I'm going to go to 3.00. Okay, so I'm going total positive up really 3, 4, 4.25 spaces over, if that makes sense, because we were a negative. I went to 0 is 1.25, and then 3 up, so that's 4.25 spaces, if that really makes sense. Hopefully it does. Okay. Now let's try this again. And when I install a new camera system, this is what I do. After I do the calibrations, you just keep working on the numbers. And again, it may take you a half dozen times or a dozen times the first time. Then after a while, you get the hang of it. So let's update the overlay. Wow, you can see, look how far that is. It's all the way over there. Again, let me see if I can lighten this up a little bit. Go there. Let's see if that makes it a little better. Oh, not too bad. Yeah, let's try that. Oh, there we go. Okay, I moved it, so we're good to go. All right, so let's go over here. And you know, and again, I'm going to, you know what, this time, let's do a fill. Make this a little smaller. We'll go right there. Fill may be easier to see. Now let's go back up to here real quick. Go to device settings. And now I'm going to go to, let's go to 1. Let's get closer to where we were before. Okay. Update the overlay. And I didn't have to, but what the heck. All right. See the lasers moving over here. Okay. Almost, it's starting to get cold here in East Coast. I'm wearing a jacket even though I have the heat on in the workshop. I keep it a little cooler because I'm not in here, you know, too often, you know, during the week. So I just keep it in the 60s. If I'm in here longer, then I'll go up to 70. So anyway. Okay, update. You can see we're getting closer. That's a lot easier to see. So now, let's do one more time. Whoops, sorry. Go full screen there. There you go. Fat fingered that guy. Okay, let's go to device settings. Now we're going to go to, we'll go to 0. And then after we'll go right to the minus 1.25. I just want to show you the steps that we go through. So I'm going to go right here. Start. Yes. And the reason I'm on the LightBurn 1.704, there's actually some protocol fixes for the Xtool series lasers, and they're fixing some other stuff, but there was some, they had to fix a power issue that they had in LightBurn in the original profile. When you were doing line draws, it was pretty much constant all the time, no matter what you adjusted. So that's a great fix that just got fixed. Okay, enough babbling. Okay, there you go. You can see we're getting closer. Okay, so now let's go where we were before. We were minus 1.25, so we're going to go minus 1.25. Remember your X and your Y. X will go in this way. Well, on the camera it's opposite, but you get it. You understand what I'm saying. Let's go over here and I'll show you over here. X minus, you go this way. Follow my arrow, we're going this way. Positive, we're going this way. So remember, we started at minus 1.25 on the X. Then we went to 3. Then we went down another step to 1. And now we're going to go back to the minus 1.25, which should allow us to be dead on to where our camera is calibrated to the system. So again, go to device settings, minus 1.25 and 18. Okay, let's do that. Yes. And I'll show you how to get that pop-up if you'd like to do that on yourself, so you can, as a reminder, make sure you have, if your inline vacuum is on or something like that. Almost done. Okay, I don't have it too fast, so it should have been done already, but that's okay. Okay, update the overlay, and there it is. Boom, perfect. Okay, so let's go back over here, go to device settings. Again, we updated the offset, we enabled it and made it minus 1.25 and 18 to align. Again, what we're doing is we're aligning that camera to your laser system, so you're converging that image so they're one when they engrave. Real important to do. Let me show you real quick. We'll go here, we'll go to, okay, so we go to device settings. We go to enable job checklist. You open it up, you can put in here whatever you like. Turn on your fan, turn on your exhaust, whatever, and it's just a reminder that pops up. I like it because I try not to keep my inline vac on all the time. If I'm doing some design work, I don't need it on. So, and that's it. That's where we're at. So that should have given you an idea, and we'll do one more. on how to precisely align your camera on any laser with your system. And again, you first do 3 things totally. You do your Calibrate camera lens. Once that's done the first time, you don't have to do it again. Again, like I said before, anytime you change the thickness of material, you want to run another Calibrate camera alignment. And now here's the key. After you do that, and you do the grids, you get everything aligned, and it's working good, you go by your camera, you right-click, and you say Export Camera Settings. You name it. I usually name it with my organization name, the camera, and the thickness of the wood. You save that, and then in the future, if you're using 3mm, 2mm, 6mm, acrylic, whatever it is, you're creating that library of profiles. So I hope you learned something today. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up. I want to keep doing a lot of videos. The next video I'm going to work on is engraving jean material, because you go to the stores, you see all the fancy nice jeans with logos or crosses or whatever on there. How do you do that without making holes? So we're going to do that in the next video. So subscribe, fingers up. Any comments, leave it in the comments section or email me, RLDesign.Innovations@gmail.com. One other quick thing, so get ready for that Black Friday deals. There'll be some real terrific deals on there. I'm trying to save money. I'm trying to get better pricing from the vendors so that we can have a better savings. So talk to you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.